You fall into sleep and something else, something beneath your waking self, takes over. Dreams begin. Shapes, voices, people who don't exist, places you've never seen, stories that vanish upon waking. But in those moments, they feel real, vivid, emotional. What is this inner theater? Why does the mind invent entire realities while you lie still in the dark? Some dreams are strange, some beautiful, others terrifying, some you forget instantly, others haunt you for years. And sometimes, you wake inside one. You realize you're dreaming. You take control. You become lucid. What are these states of mind? What do they reveal about the boundaries of self, reality, and the conscious experience? Today on The Consciousness Code, we explore the surreal dimension of dreams, lucidity, and altered states of mind. From sleep cycles and REM waves to meditative states and psychedelic visions, we'll journey through the unconscious to ask, when you close your eyes, who's doing the dreaming? Sleep architecture and REM realities. Sleep, it seems so simple. You close your eyes, drift away, and wake up hours later. But beneath that surface is one of the most complex biological and psychological states we know. The body rests, the brain becomes active. Sleep isn't one thing, it's a cycle. 4 to 6 times a night, your mind drifts through stages: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM, rapid eye movement. REM is where the most vivid dreams occur. It's paradoxical. The brain looks awake, but the body is paralyzed. Heart rate rises, breathing changes, brainwaves shift. Why does this matter? Because this stage of sleep seems to hold the key to memory formation, emotional processing, and cognitive resilience. When we dream, the brain doesn't shut off. It reconfigures. It blends memories, expectations, symbols, emotions. In REM, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic and self-awareness, dials down. Meanwhile, the amygdala and hippocampus, emotion and memory centers, light up. You lose critical thinking. You gain story and sensation. It's as if the mind is speaking its own language, unfiltered by daylight reason. The sleeping brain rehearses life without consequences. It learns, heals, and sometimes dreams you into visions too strange for waking thought. But how much of it is random? And how much is meaningful? That's where lucidity begins. The science of lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is a paradox. It is the moment when you realize you're dreaming, while still inside the dream. Suddenly, the laws of waking life begin to bend. You can fly, shift time, speak with the dead, explore inner landscapes that feel more real than reality. But it's not just fantasy, it's science. In a lucid dream, the dreamer becomes self-aware. Brain scans show a remarkable phenomenon. The prefrontal cortex, normally quiet during sleep, lights up. This is the seat of metacognition, the ability to think about thinking. It's as if the dreaming brain briefly reactivates its inner witness. People who experience frequent lucid dreams often have increased activity in the anterior prefrontal cortex even during waking life. Researchers have trained dreamers to signal lucidity using eye movements, deliberate shifts that can be recorded in real time during REM. Techniques to induce lucidity are real. Reality testing, checking throughout the day whether you're awake. Mnemonic induction, reminding yourself before sleep, I will remember I'm dreaming. Wake back to bed, waking early, then falling back asleep during REM-rich cycles. But why pursue lucidity? Some use it for thrill, others for healing. Studies show lucid dreamers can confront nightmares, practice motor skills, and even boost confidence and creativity. In dreams, the body sleeps, but the mind can roam. For ancient cultures, lucidity wasn't novelty. It was a practice. Tibetan monks developed dream yoga, using sleep as a tool for spiritual insight. In their view, waking life is another kind of dream, and lucidity is a form of awakening. So when you become aware within the dream, who is it that awakens, and what is that awareness made of? Symbolism, archetypes, and the subconscious. When you dream, your mind speaks in metaphor. A staircase becomes a struggle. A stranger becomes your fear. A flying moment becomes freedom. These images aren't random. They are symbolic. And according to Carl Jung, they arise from the collective unconscious, a vast shared reservoir of archetypes that we all inherit. Jung believed dreams reveal truths hidden from the conscious mind, that symbols like masks conceal deeper meanings. Water might represent emotion, a house, the self, a shadowy figure, your own disowned traits. These images are personal, but also universal. The hero, the trickster, the mother, the shadow. These aren't just characters in mythology, they're patterns that shape our own inner worlds. And when we sleep, these archetypes come alive. Dreams don't just process memory, and they speak in myth. Modern neuroscience shows that during REM sleep, the default mode network is highly active, the part of the brain involved in self-reflection and internal narrative. The dreaming mind is a storyteller, but not a rational one. It favors imagery over logic, feeling over fact. That's why dreams feel so emotionally charged. Why one strange detail, a hallway, a clock, a face, can echo long after waking. The subconscious mind, unchained from the ego, reveals itself not in words, but in symbols. So how do we interpret these dreams? Should we even try? The truth may not lie in universal meanings, but in how the symbol speaks to you. A storm may mean chaos, or rebirth, or cleansing. A snake may frighten you, or teach you. What matters is not just what the dream shows, but how it feels. In that way, the dream isn't just a puzzle. It's a conversation between the self you know and the self you've forgotten. Altered states, meditation, trance, and flow. Dreams aren't the only windows into altered consciousness. In waking life, we also enter strange liminal zones, moments when the self softens, time stretches, awareness deepens. Call them trance, flow, meditation. These altered states blur the boundaries between waking and dreaming. Brain scans reveal fascinating overlaps. During deep meditation, brainwaves shift into theta and alpha ranges, similar to early sleep and dream states. The default mode network, often associated with mind wandering, goes quiet. Silence arises, not just of sound, but of self. In these moments, people report a loss of ego, emerging with something larger. Some describe it as timeless, others as pure presence. In flow states, often triggered by creative work, music, sports, or intense focus, we lose the sense of being separate. Time distorts, action feels effortless, the inner narrator fades. These states are not sleep, but they are dreamlike. And they raise a question. If we can enter altered consciousness while awake, what is our normal state, really? Many spiritual traditions use trance, through rhythm, breathwork, or guided imagery, to shift awareness. Shamans, mystics, monks, they all step into the spaces between waking and dreaming. Science is only beginning to study these states, but the reports are consistent. Something changes, something opens, and the self becomes spacious. Maybe dreams don't only happen at night. Maybe we're dreaming all the time. And occasionally, through meditation or trance, we wake up inside the waking dream. Near-death experiences and psychedelic insights. What happens when the veil thins, not in dreams or meditation, but in the space between life and death? Thousands of people have reported near-death experiences, NDEs, moments when the body shuts down, but awareness continues. A tunnel of light, a sense of peace, seeing your own body from above, a review of life's moments, a voice, a presence, a boundary you're told not to cross. These are common themes, reported across cultures, ages, beliefs. Are they evidence of an afterlife, or brain chemistry on the brink of shutdown? Neuroscientists have found that at death's edge, the brain may surge in activity, a final burst of organized chaos, a last dream, a final spark. But what's remarkable is how similar these experiences are to certain psychedelic journeys. Compounds like DMT, psilocybin, and LSD have been shown to dissolve ego boundaries, expand time, and create a sense of cosmic unity. The brain in these states doesn't shut down, it rewires. Neural pathways open. The default mode network quiets. Sensory input is replaced by inner visions. People describe meeting entities, revisiting traumas, encountering love beyond words. For some, it's healing. For others, it's disorienting, but always it's transformative. Are these states just chemical illusions? Or windows into layers of mind we rarely access? The ancient world used entheogens, generating the divine within, in ceremony, not recreation. What if these altered states aren't distractions, but teachers? If near-death and psychedelic experiences feel more real than waking life, what does that say about reality itself? Maybe the edges of mind, where fear and wonder meet, are where we glimpse something timeless. And maybe in those glimpses, we're not hallucinating. We're remembering something we forgot. Dreamtime and cultural consciousness. Not all cultures see dreams the same way. In many indigenous traditions, dreams are not illusions. They are experiences. Real, important, sometimes more true than waking life. Among Aboriginal Australians, the dream time isn't just a state of sleep. It's the foundational reality. A timeless space where ancestors walked, where creation began, and where the stories of the world still live. In dreamtime, the spiritual and physical worlds are one, and dreams are a doorway back into that realm. Across the Americas, shamans and medicine people have used dreams for guidance, healing, and prophecy. In many African traditions, ancestors communicate through dreams. Messages come wrapped in symbol and vision. These cultures do not ask, "Was it just a dream?" They ask, "What is it telling us?" Anthropologists have found that cultures who value dreams remember them more vividly. Children are taught to share and interpret their dreams. This suggests something profound. Our relationship to dreams is shaped by culture. If we treat dreams as meaningless noise, we forget them. If we treat them as sacred, they open. And in some cases, they guide. Perhaps the unconscious isn't just personal, but collective. And in dreaming, we access not only ourselves, but the stories of our people. So what stories are your dreams telling you? And what might happen if you started to listen? Simulation, memory, and internal worlds. Are dreams just entertainment for the sleeping brain? Or are they simulations, internal models preparing us for life? Neuroscience offers a theory that dreams help us process emotions, test responses, and integrate memory. During REM sleep, the brain runs through scenarios, some drawn from our past, others seemingly invented. We rehearse danger, practice conversations, revisit trauma. It's like a cognitive training ground, with no real-world consequences. This is called the threat simulation theory, suggesting dreams evolved as a survival mechanism. But dreams don't only replay fear, they simulate joy, surprise, absurdity. Memory is key here. Sleep is when the brain consolidates memories, transferring short-term experiences into long-term storage. But it's not a perfect record, it's a reconstruction, a remix. In dreams, memory fragments combine in new, sometimes poetic ways. Some researchers believe this helps with problem solving. Others say it fosters creativity. Paul McCartney dreamed the melody to Yesterday. Mary Shelley dreamt Frankenstein. Could our inner world be an engine of innovation? Dreams might also help us simulate the future. Planning, anticipating, preparing emotionally for things not yet real. The mind creates models, not just of others, but of itself. In doing so, it maintains continuity, identity, selfhood. But if these models are always shifting, always imagined, then who or what is dreaming them? Maybe you're not just the observer of your dreams. Maybe you are one of their characters, a construct in your own mental theater. And maybe waking life is just another simulation, a dream with rules we've agreed to call real. Who's dreaming? Consciousness and identity. Dreams challenge the idea of a stable self. In waking life, you know who you are, or so you believe. But in dreams, your identity shifts. You become someone else, or many selves. Sometimes you don't even exist in the dream. You simply observe. So who is the you that dreams? Consider the phenomenon of false awakenings. Dreams in which you believe you've woken up, only to realize you're still dreaming. Layers of illusion, stacked like Russian dolls, each one convincing, each one temporary. Neuroscience studies split-brain patients, individuals whose brain hemispheres were surgically separated. These cases reveal something astonishing. Two streams of consciousness can exist in the same skull. One hand writes yes, the other, no. One hemisphere sees an image and reacts, the other is unaware. So, is consciousness unified or fractured? And in dreams, where is the center of identity? Are you the dreamer? The dreamed? The landscape itself? In lucid dreams, there's a self that knows, an I that realizes it is inside an illusion. But even then, who is watching that? Maybe the dream ego is just a mask, a fragment, a construct built for continuity. Waking identity may be the same, a narrative, a story the mind tells to make sense of its own existence. But beneath the dreamer and beneath the self, is there an awareness that simply watches, not attached, not named, just aware? If so, that might be the truest dreamer of all. Lucidity beyond sleep dreams while awake. Lucidity doesn't belong only to sleep. Sometimes in waking life, the veil thins, and a moment feels oddly dreamlike. You pause, look around, and wonder, is this real? This is the edge of waking lucidity, moments where the boundary between thought and reality blurs. These states arise in many ways. Daydreaming, where the mind drifts freely. Hypnagogia, the transition into sleep meditative trances, or flow. Brain imaging shows that these states share neural signatures with dreaming. The default mode network hums, time perception shifts, the ego quiets. Creativity often sparks here, so do insight and intuition. Artists, writers, inventors. Many say their greatest ideas arrive not through logic, but while in a waking dream. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called it flow, the optimal state of consciousness. Action and awareness merge. Time dilates. The inner critic disappears. But there's a deeper layer. Sometimes, while fully awake, people describe a strange clarity, as if they wake up inside their lives. They become lucid in waking reality. These moments can be triggered by beauty, fear, trauma, or stillness. A sudden realization that life itself is dreamlike. So what separates dreaming from waking? If both states can contain lucidity, insight, imagination, maybe it's not the content that matters, but the quality of awareness. To be lucid while dreaming is to know you are dreaming. To be lucid while awake is to know you are alive. And in that knowing, something sacred stirs. Not just thought, not just sensation, but awareness, aware of itself. The dreaming universe. What if reality itself is dreaming? Not metaphorically, but structurally, fundamentally. Across cultures and philosophies, there is a recurring whisper that the world we inhabit may be a projection, a simulation, or a dream within a greater mind. In Hindu Vedanta, this world is Maya, illusion. What appears real is fleeting, shaped by perception. Beneath it all lies Brahman, pure, formless awareness. In Tibetan Buddhism, waking life is one dream layered over another. Lucidity becomes liberation. Western thinkers too have pondered this. Descartes questioned whether we could trust our senses. Berkeley said all things exist only in the mind of God. In modern times, the idea has evolved into the simulation hypothesis, the notion that we are living in a computational construct, indistinguishable from reality. Whether myth or math, the question is the same. Is there an ultimate reality, or only layers of dreams stacked within dreams? Physics, too, hints at something dreamlike. Particles that exist in multiple states, entanglements that defy space, a quantum vacuum filled with potential, and at the center of it all, awareness. Not as a passive observer, but as a participant, a co-creator. If the universe is dreaming itself awake, then what is your role? Maybe your thoughts shape the dream. Your feelings ripple across fields. Your attention bends the unfolding of time. And maybe, just maybe, the dreamer is waking up, through you. So as this episode closes, ask yourself not just, what are dreams, but this. What if reality itself is a dream, becoming conscious? Next time on The Consciousness Code, we explore near-death experiences, evidence of more. Until then, stay curious, stay conscious. If this stirred something inside you, subscribe, like, and share this with a fellow seeker.